What is going on, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and we are back with another video. This time, this week's Hot 10 as per Key Collector, 10 scorching hot comics that we're going to go through, and I'm going to tell you if they're a buy right here or they're a don't buy. Like always, guys, this is my opinion. Don't be going off what I say. However, this is how I would collect, and I'm just passing on the information to you guys. Before we get started, like we always do, I'm going to ask anyone out there watching this video that is not a current subscriber of the channel, why don't you go ahead and click that subscribe button for me. Of course, if you enjoy my videos and you like this one, I want you to smash that like button for me as well. And lastly, let me know what you think of my opinions down in the comments. I always enjoy reading everything you guys have to say, so let me know what you think down below. As we always do, let's get started in this Hot 10. At number 10 is a copy of Werewolf by Night, number 33, the second appearance of Moon Knight. Now, the first appearance of Moon Knight is skyrocketed through the charts. If we're talking about in low grade, we're talking about probably over $1,000 book. The Werewolf by Night number 33 is an affordable copy if you want a second appearance. A CGC 9.0 recently sold this month for $665. To me, if you're a second appearance collector and you wanted to pick this book up, I do think this is quite an expensive second appearance. I know if you want a first appearance, you're going to pay quite a bit amount of money for it. I would try to get a first appearance if I could. I'm not spending $665 on a second appearance. Even though it is at a high grade book, I still think that's too much money to pay for this second appearance. So this is a thumbs down for me, guys. At number 9 this week is a copy of Thor 165. The first appearance of him out of the cocoon, which later goes on to become Adam Warlock. I've talked about this book a bunch. There are 3, first appearances for technically Warlock. We have Fantastic Four 67, Thor 165, and of course, Power of Warlock number 1. Marvel Premiere number 1, the first appearance of actually Adam Warlock. We're talking about Thor 165. I am definitely a buyer of this book. I actually have 1 copy. I used to have 3. I'm down to 1, but I still think this is a good buy here. A CGC 4.5 sold this month for only $305 for a mid-grade book. I think that is well worth it because we know Adam Warlock will show up in the MCU sooner rather than later. I'm picking up this book every time I can. It is a Silver Age key that is still undervalued in my opinion. At number 8 this week is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 20, the first appearance of the Scorpion. You guys know, if you've been watching my channel, I've recently picked up 2 extra copies of this book. I am specking on it big time. Not only is this a Silver Age first appearance, it is Amazing Spider-Man key and a highly undervalued key in my opinion. I am definitely picking up this book anytime I can find it if it's affordable. Another Silver Age beauty. A CGC 3.5 recently sold this month for only $725. However, if you go back just a couple of weeks, I picked up a 3.0 off of eBay for $500, and I picked up a nice raw copy that I pressed for only $330. To me, this is a screaming buy. I do think the Scorpion will show up at some point in No Way Home or in the next movie after that. They're setting it up at some point, so I'm definitely picking up this book if you guys want to. Again, I think it's a good buy. At number 7 this week is another familiar key that's been on the list before. DC Comics Presents number 26, the first appearance of the Teen Titans. Now, a couple of weeks back, I said this was a no-go for me, and I'm sticking to that as well. A CGC 9.6 just sold for $1,100. The reason why I say it's a not buy for me, because this book could have been had for cheap, under $100, just a few months back. To me, I'm not paying up for a 9.6 for $1,100. I think it's a little bit pricey, and I do think you need to buy this book at a 9.6, 9.8 range. I'm not going out and getting a lesser copy only because it is, a Bronze Age key. It's a DC key. DC keys are not really hot right now, and I do think this one is a little overpriced in my opinion. So I'm staying away at this point. If it starts to drop and you want to secure yourself a copy, then I'm all for it. At number 6 is a really undervalued key in my opinion. It is Avengers number 11. It's a double key. It's the first Spider-Man crossover with the Avengers, and it's also the second appearance of Kang the Conqueror, believe it or not. I did not know that till this list was published, so I think that's pretty cool. A CGC 5.5 recently sold this month for $500. To me, a 5.5 sold for $1,100. I will say this, because it's a double key, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's a little bit overpriced in my opinion for $500, but I will say it's a Silver Age key. It's a double key. So for me, I'm okay picking this book up if you can get a deal on that. This is kind of a book that's like, you know, it's kind of pick your poison. I think because it's a double key, I think it's worth it. If this was just a second appearance at Kang, I probably wouldn't spend the money on it. But because it's a double, I think I'm going to say it's well worth it to buy if you can get a good deal on it. So this is a thumbs up for me, guys. At number 5 is a copy of Astonishing Tales number 25, the first appearance of Deathlock and Luther Manning. I will say this, a CGC 7.5 just sold this month for only $275 for a very fine copy. This book is starting to climb, so if you can find one for a great deal, I'm all for buying it. It's a cool yellow cover, a really under-the-radar first appearance for Marvel, so it's for me. I'm picking it up. If we can get like a 9.0 or higher, I'd probably do that if we can for a good price. I don't have a 9.0 sale right now. 7.5 recently sold, like I said. Still think this book is undervalued, and this is definitely a key pickup and a book that I'd be looking to pick up if you don't have a copy already. At number 4 is a scorching hot book and one of my favorites of all time, Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 1, the first appearance of the Sinister Six. We all know the rumors that the Sinister Six are coming in No Way Home. They're coming from other universes into the MCU, so we'll see how that affects it. I believe what I'm hearing right now, it is the Green Goblin, Electro, the Lizard, Doc Ock, the Rhino, and the Sandman. That remains to be seen if this forms the Sinister Six in the MCU. Of course, it is not the original Sinister Six, but that's okay. A CGC 6.0 recently sold this month for $3,205. Now, me personally, I have a 1.5 copy of this book, and I'm not sure what that'll run you. It's definitely over $1,000. To pay $3,000 for a 6.0, first of all, they're really hard to find because this is a thick bound book, the square bounds. Really hard to find in higher grades. The lower grades are kind of more what you're going to find out there. I'm still okay buying a lower grade copy of this book. If I could, though, I'd probably pick up the first appearance of each of the Sinister Six instead. If you can afford those, that's what I'd go with. But if you can't, this is a really nice alternative and definitely worth picking up. This is a thumbs up for me, guys. At number 3 this week is one of my all-time favorite keys, Fantastic Four, number 49. The second appearance of Silver Surfer, but more importantly, the first full appearance of Galactus. Now, believe it or not, this book is crazy expensive right now. If you haven't watched my last couple of videos, I actually picked up a raw copy of this book for super cheap. I couldn't believe how cheap I got it for. Just to show you, go back and watch that haul video because I found a raw copy with a detached wrap, first wrap, for $400. A CGC 1.5 just sold this month for $900. So to me, if you could find this book for cheap, I still think it's worth picking up because Galactus is far down the road in the MCU when he does show up. So secure your copy now. I'm definitely buying this book if you could find it. I probably wouldn't go with a 1.5. You could go 2.5 or higher. I still think it's a good buy. Galactus is going to be a big deal when he does show up in the MCU. So if you could find one under fair market value, I'd be picking it up every time I possibly could. At number 2 this week is a monster key, and a key that most people probably can't add to their collection. It is Fantastic Four, number 5, the first appearance of Doctor Doom. This was a huge book. If we go a couple of years ago, this book could be had for under $1,000 for probably around a 2.0. Believe it or not, a 5.5 CGC just sold this month for $16,805, which is mind-boggling. He might be the biggest Marvel villain there is. I'm not going to take that away from Doctor Doom. An awesome character. Obviously, I'm not shelling out $16,000 for a 5.0 copy. However, I do think it's well worth that money. I'm not going to lie to you. Because he is a top 3 villain in all of Marvel Comics, it is definitely worth owning this book. If you can find one, if you could spend a good amount of money finding one for under fair market value. A 5.0 is probably a little bit high for, I would say, 99% of the people out there. If you could secure yourself a 1.5 or higher, I would do it for under fair market value. This book is going to be a book that lasts the test of time. That's just my opinion. And when Doctor Doom eventually comes into the MCU, because 100% he is going to come at some point, this book is going to go even higher. So to me, this is always a buy because it is such a hard key to find. And you really don't find too many listed for, on eBay, on the auction site, stuff like that. So if you could find a book that you're willing to pay the amount for this, what it's worth, under fair market value, I would do it. Even at fair market value, I'm not going to lie, this book is worth it to add to your collection and just kind of hold on to it until you're ready to let it go because it's always going to go up in value. So to me, it's always a screaming buy. At number 1 this week, again, for 3 weeks in a row, is Avengers number 8, the first appearance of Kang the Conqueror. Now, I gave this a don't buy over the last 2 weeks, only for the fact that this, I think it will drop at some point. I've had people comment on these videos saying that they don't think it's they think it's a buy no matter what right now. I'm still going to stick to my thing. It's a don't buy unless you can get it for under fair market value. I've been on claim sales, like I said in my last week's video there. This book hasn't sold for the ask. So if you can get a deal on it, I still think it's a buy. However, if you're not getting a deal, to me, it's a hold off. We know what they're going to do with Kang now. I don't think that it's worth what it's selling for. If you can get a deal, then go ahead and pounce on it. If you don't, I'm saying hold off. The CGC 2.0 recently sold this month for $1,000. We're talking about a 2.0 copy. Literally about a month and a half ago, I sold my 5.0 for $1,300. So you guys, I'm the fool, I guess, for selling too early. But regardless, this book is scorching right now. I'm not touching it. I'm waiting for it to come in if I want to add a copy to my collection. So that's it for the Hot 10, guys. Like always, you let me know what you think down in the comments below. What do you agree with? What do you don't agree with? You know, go from there. See what you guys like. To me, this is what I'd be doing with these books going forward. So, like always, this is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of this Hot 10 list too, guys. I want to know what you guys' feelings are. And I'll talk to you guys soon.